Oh, it feels nice, actually. It feels really nice. Good morning, Derek. How was your sleep?
Slept like a baby.
Yeah, that was surprisingly pretty comfortable. It's a nice bright morning, sunny, not too hot yet. But of course we are in the shade, so that might be why. Peter, how was your sleep?
I slept so well.
Did you?
Yeah, I haven't been sleeping well recently, so.
It looks like you need some melatonin. Or you need to live here permanently. One or the other.
Or we just needed to tire him out.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Don't worry, we'll definitely be tiring you out the next few days, so. I actually had a fun little story. So when I came to Japan the first time, there was one point where me and some of my classmates, we were doing a study abroad, so we were walking across just like all throughout the city, and like a group of kids just kept following us everywhere. Like it was 20 or 30 students, like little kids, probably in elementary school, just following us everywhere. Yeah, and apparently they came up to us and just wanted to like take a picture and like practice
so
their
about it.
Yeah, and they like wanted to practice a little bit of English on us and everything. It was so cute.
Oh man, how far did they follow y'all?
They followed us for a good while. It was like a good 15-20 minutes.
Dude, what the
heck?
heck?
I hope that they were going in the general direction of their school at least, because otherwise, you know, that's a pretty big detour.
Right. Was this like, what time of the day was it?
It was in the morning, yeah.
Okay, so maybe they're on their way to school.
Yeah. Because we were like, oh, what are the chances we happen to be going in the same direction as a bunch of school kids? And then every time we'd just make a random turn, they'd follow us and be laughing.
Today is our official first full day in Japan. We of course have to start our morning off with some Family Mart. You know, Family Mart, 7-Eleven, and Lawson's are usually the go-to for a quick meal, and the quality is actually really good. And I want to give a quick shout out to a couple friends, Shanwaz and Nasser. They were telling me I had to try the egg salad sandwich, so of course, that was the first thing that I was thinking about. However, there were a lot of things that were catching my eye, because the first time I came to Japan, I didn't really get that much food from Family Mart. I mostly stuck to 7-Eleven, so I just was amazed by the variety of food they have and how fresh it actually looked. So I was actually having trouble deciding, so I got a 3-pack sandwich that had a little bit of everything, so that way I could try a little bit of everything right off the bat.
Gotta get myself some Pocari Sweat.
Pocari Sweat.
Yeah. Alright, not too bad. All of this for 605 yen. That's pretty cheap, honestly. That's like probably, it's definitely under $6, maybe around $5 for all this. And this is today's breakfast because we are going to be in a bit of a rush to get everything done. Oh, do I have to like take out the wrap separately and...
Ooh, rookie mistake.
Ah,
Oh no, oh, should have showed you.
Yeah.
sadness.
So, that's how you do it.
I done messed up.
So,
Oh nice.
it has the numbers.
Oh,
Alright, so first you're gonna pull on this all the way, like here.
alright.
Or you can just take it all out.
Alright,
So,
time to make
for
it.
next time, okay?
Yeah.
And then you just pull on the sides. Help the rice. And then it's like this.
Dang, alright, yeah.
Yeah.
Some assembly required. Got it.
Then just take it all out. I guess that works too.
the same. At least the thing wasn't destroyed.
Right. Nice. All right, for those of you who come to Japan, don't make the same mistake I did. I'm glad I looked for numbers. All right. There's a secret to everything. All right, one.
There you go.
All right, cool. Oh, is it just pretty much so it can be like held without like getting your hands
Or you just
messy?
like slide it out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. This looks really good. This smells really good. Dang. Oh, it's 3 different sandwiches. I didn't notice that. I thought it was all just stuffed into one big sandwich.
Yeah.
So with my 3 sandwiches in hand, I had to go ahead and try to finish it before we got to the subway, because generally you don't want to eat on the subway in Japan. So you can see me just chewing along while I use my 72-hour subway pass and just making my way there. And this last one I had to stuff as quick as I possibly could so that way I wasn't eating on the subway. But today's schedule was going to be a packed one. We were hoping to maybe see some cherry blossoms, even though we were a couple days too late for cherry blossom season, but we were kind of hoping we might get lucky. We also had a couple temples and shrines that we wanted to check out, as well as parks. Overall, it was our first day, so we were worried about time. Time is very key, and time is our limiting factor. So we were pretty worried, but at the same time, we didn't want to overly rush everything because we wanted to enjoy our experience. And of course, I got some Pocari Sweat because you will get dehydrated in the summers and the late springs in Japan. It's just brutally hot. So keep that in mind. A lot of hydration is very, very key. And so whenever I ran out of liquid IV or ran out of water to make liquid IV, I would just buy myself a Pocari Sweat. One thing about the schedule that I made is that I put a lot of walking. I mean, obviously we have to use the subway to get to certain areas, but once we got to those areas, it involved a decent amount of walking. And there's a couple reasons why I go with this. A, I like walking just because you get to experience more of the city, you get to see more things. B, sometimes walking to the subway, taking the subway, then walking from the subway to your destination was almost the same amount of time as if you had just walked in the first place. So generally, I like to opt in for the walking. Our very first destination was the Shokakuji Temple, which was a smaller temple. It was close to the subway, so I figured it'd be a quick stop and we could get a nice little view of what is in the area, because I'd never actually been to this area. I believe the area was called Nakameguro, and we specifically came here for cherry blossoms. Granted, we're out of season, but we wanted to take a look, and I didn't want it to be a complete waste of time, so I included this little temple just so we could get a little bit of something from the area in case we missed out on the cherry blossoms. And as you can tell, it is a very, very nice temple. Very quiet. We might have gone there a little too early, but at the same time, it's nice when it's quiet because you don't have to worry about as many tourists, like us, coming around. At this point, we were off to Meguro River in the hopes of possibly catching some cherry blossoms. Again, not very likely though. But of course, we had to stop for some ice cream on the way. We did happen to spot a 7-Eleven, and it was a very hot day, so we figured why not. Peter recommended the blueberry ice cream, but I actually noticed that they had a coffee version of the grape ice cream we had yesterday. And that grape ice cream was really, really good. And I personally love coffee flavoring, so I figured it was worth a try, because why not? And they also had an orange flavor, so I knew that I had to try both at some point, but coffee flavor had to be my go-to for today.
What is he saying to you? 172. Compared to the grape, I think the grape was a little bit better. I like coffee flavoring a lot though. I'd say the grape was like a solid 8 out of 10. This is probably a 7 out of 10. We've made it to the river. What's the view like?
So we decided to walk along the river for a bit, even though there weren't any cherry blossoms, but it was such a nice river walk that we figured it was worth spending a little time here before we headed to our next destination. And lucky for me, Derek of course bought more pastries for us to eat. However, we realized we were going in the wrong direction because we needed to go to Shibuya. Specifically, we needed to go to Yoyogi Park and Meiji Shrine next, so we had to double back and make our way to our next spot. Luckily, once again, we've got Peter to guide us along, and we got there really, really quick. In fact, we were really far ahead on our schedule that we were able to spend a lot more time than we had expected. And let me tell you, this park was beautiful. It was definitely worth just hanging out and spending a lot of time at. I honestly am so glad that we were so far ahead of schedule because we were able to just do a leisurely stroll through this entire park. I really quickly wanted to mention J-Surge. It's my new YouTube channel where I help promote new Japanese singers and bands, and this song that you're hearing along with this video is actually one of the artists that's working with me. If you'd like to help support them, please check the description below for a link to the new YouTube channel so that way you can go watch their music videos and help support them as well.
It looks pink.
We got some pink.
I will take a photo.
That was our goal for today, was to find as close to a cherry blossom as we could. So I think that will have to count.
At this point, we made our way back to Shibuya Square. This was mostly so we could rest up, because we were planning on coming back to Shibuya the next day, so we didn't need to spend a ton of time here. Just looking around, I saw a lot of brands that I knew I couldn't afford, and it was making me feel a little sad. But at the same time, it was just beautiful. The whole building was elegant. They had restaurants, they had shops that had clothing and, you know, different cafes. It was really nice. Now, I wouldn't spend a ton of time here, honestly, just because I didn't really see much for me to do there. After taking a nice long rest, it was time to get some food, and luckily Peter knew a really good ramen place, so we made our way over there. It was a very, very long walk, which we of course love to do. We were prepping ourselves for much longer walks to come, and this place already had a pretty long line, and we weren't even coming during lunchtime, so we figured it must be pretty good. And it was very tight. Keep that in mind if you have a large backpack like I did, but man, the ramen was heavenly. We were starving, just staring at that. We knew we were ready to feast, and man, I didn't even want to record this. I just wanted to get straight to eating. Of course, I was the slowest to eat, so Peter and Derek waited outside since there was very limited seating, and there was still a line outside for people to come in and eat. Now that we were fully stuffed, of course it was time to get more food. Peter actually wanted to try an Indian restaurant, or have me try an Indian restaurant that he frequents, to tell him if it was pretty authentic or not. So of course, we had to make our way to Shinjuku so we could go try this restaurant.
I need to know, what is your favorite Japanese word?
Mamanaku
And what does that mean?
means slowly.
Slowly, yes, that is a very important word to know, of course.
It means shortly.
I thought it meant shortly. That's what I was-
Oh, I misheard. Oh, you should have corrected me.
Well, you haven't been taking it in English, so.
Oh, okay.
Damn, you don't even know your favorite word that well, huh?
No, I don't, man.
Very disappointing.
Scratch that.
As we were walking to the restaurant, we decided to stop by this crane machine arcade, and of course, I see the large Kirby version of the mini one that I spent $20 trying to win. And what really stung was that it only cost 100 yen to play this one, just like it cost 100 for the small one. So I could have been going for this nice large Kirby the whole time. But the interesting thing about this arcade was they actually had a lot of food options. There was a floor where all the prizes were just different foods. And honestly, when I was doing the math, I didn't really see the point. Because to win a mini Red Bull, you know, if you were to do it in one attempt, 100 yen, you could go to the 7-Eleven and buy it for almost the exact same price. So yeah, I wasn't too sure. I guess part of it was just the fun of playing the claw machine, but then there were some items that were really interesting, such as the Pokemon backpacks, and they even had kind of like pots for plants. They had, of course, some Spy Family. It was a very interesting arcade, to say the least. And as we left, we noticed the Don Quixote was just across the street. So I figured, why not? It's time to go ahead and check it out. For those of you who aren't aware, Don Quixote is a mega store. It's similar to a Walmart, but even more compact. It's really interesting and very confusing to get around. It also is pretty hard to find certain things that you might need. Yeah, I've spent a long time just going through the maze of what is Don Quixote, but they really do have everything. The food there is really good. The bentos are really great, which, by the way, they discount those bentos at night. So if you're looking for something a little bit cheaper to eat, go there around 9 or 10 p.m. and you can get some cheap bentos to save a little bit of money. They, of course, have every type of dessert. They've got souvenirs. It really has everything you're looking for. It's pretty insane to think about. And then we saw a Tato station, which meant more claw machines and more arcade games. So of course, we decided to stop on by again and see what was in this store. Specifically, I wanted to see if there's anything different between this Tato station and the other ones that I've been to. And for the most part, there are a few figurines that are a little bit different, a few other prizes here and there. Some things I couldn't find, some I could, such as the mini Kirby's I didn't actually find here. But it was just kind of interesting to walk through and see what was there to entice me. And of course, it was very tempting, but after losing $20 on a mini Kirby, I felt pretty defeated and was trying my best to hold back. And then, of course, I decided I'm gonna try for one of the Naruto figurines. Specifically, I wanted to win it for one of my friends. Nasser, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, I tried my best, kind of, but if you watch, I also just epically failed because I hadn't tried one of these machines before, and I realized that you can only move over and forward once, and once you do it, you can't move again. So the first time I was thinking maybe I could get the tag, but of course not. Then the second attempt, I thought maybe if I just kind of got near the edge, it would work, but I hit it a little too early. And at that point, I had just spent another $10 trying to win this one. And yeah, decided that was probably enough of my money to waste on claw machines and gave up. After holding back some tears, we finally decided to hit up that Indian restaurant. At this point, it was getting closer to dinner time, so, you know, it was a good time to get some food. And it was just beautiful outside. I mean, Shinjuku was so nice at this time. It was nice just bathing in the sunlight and realizing also that I'm probably getting more tan than I already was. But it was just a beautiful walk. I mean, look how beautiful it is outside here. And we finally found the Indian restaurant after a nice long walk. And I'm gonna admit, it was very tempting for me to get some, but I was still pretty full. So I wasn't sure if it was a smart idea to get some food now or not, or save up for dinner, because honestly, I really wanted to wait for dinner when I had more room. But of course, I had to see what they were gonna order and give it a little taste, tell them my thoughts on the Indian food compared to what I've had from my parents and back in the US. And I've got to admit, the food was actually really, really good. I will say it was a little sweeter than what I was used to, but overall, it was great. The naan was huge, the food itself tasted amazing, and I would highly recommend, if you happen to be coming to Shinjuku and want some Indian food, definitely check out this place. Peter was telling me that a lot of college students generally come out over here because it's pretty close to one of the colleges or high schools. I can't remember for sure, but a lot of people do end up coming here, even though it was a bit hard for me to find, at least. I felt like it would be pretty difficult unless you knew about the place already. But again, highly recommend if you happen to be in Shinjuku and want some Indian food. At this point, we had put Peter into a food coma, so he decided to go hit up an internet cafe and rest up for a little bit because we did have a long night planned ahead, while Derek and I actually decided to do a detour and hit up Shinjuku Gyoen National Garden. This wasn't actually planned whatsoever, but we figured, hey, we have the time. It might be pretty nice to check out a garden in Shinjuku, and personally, the first time I came to Japan, I went to so many gardens. It was beautiful, it was stunning, and I wanted to go to more. So this was a perfect opportunity to do just that.
Something in the future that I'll probably do is I'll come back for a month once I have a real job and can afford to like maybe take a month off and just live in Shinjuku. And I saw they have a month pass for this garden.
Wow.
And then literally just come here every or not every day, but a lot of days and just like relax, just hang out. It'd be so peaceful.
I'm confident that'll extend your life expectancy by 10 years.
Honestly, yeah, right?
That relaxing.
That doctor's orders right there. Time to sit down and relax for a bit. Oh man, it's been a long day already.
At this point, we had finished everything that was on our itinerary, and we really just had a lot of free time left over. So we decided to go to the Toho Cinema because pretty sure that's where they have that beautiful Godzilla statue that is a pretty big landmark in Shinjuku. So we decided it'd be cool to go check out. And of course we made our way there, but it is a very big tourist area. So as you can see, a lot of people were headed in the exact same area. But it was nice to see, and we decided, hey, might be good to get some dinner here while we're at it. We were craving some sushi, so we did find something that was underneath the cinema. Granted, probably wasn't our best choice since, of course, it's a tourist area. It's gonna be more expensive, and the food isn't gonna necessarily be that great. And yeah, it felt like they were going for a more classy look rather than a better food option / food taste. In the end, it was okay, but we probably should have gone somewhere else. And I will say, too, that we did run into a friend, and he decided to join us for dinner while we were here. But overall, not the best sushi option. So I would recommend maybe eating somewhere else, maybe a little bit further out, so that way you can get something a little bit better and get a little bit more bang for your buck. I mean, look at that poor little sushi just sitting there on his own. We decide to cap off the night by just strolling around Shinjuku at night. I mean, there's so many lights, so beautiful. The first time I came to Japan, I actually stayed in Shinjuku, and I remember it was a lot of visual stimuli just hitting you all at once. So it was really fun to just kind of walk around and see what was around us. But overall, it was a nice, calm way to end the night because the next day we had a full pack schedule which we had to be prepared for. So hopefully you guys will tune in for the next episode so you can see our adventures.